Hi, I'm Aljoscha, a working DIT, and this is LookPocket, an iOS app which connects directly to your camera and gives you color grading controls without any additional hardware. Fundamentally, LookPocket is here to simplify your live grading setup down to the bare minimum. It runs directly on your smartphone, iPad, or Mac, and can be directly connected to your camera's Wi-Fi and immediately gives DPs and DITs all kinds of color controls directly inside of the camera. DITs and DPs want as much control over the image as possible. But often, especially on faster paced shoots, a fully featured live grading setup is simply too bulky to carry around, with all of its networking hardware, laptops, LUT boxes, and batteries. However, with LookPocket, all of that can live directly inside of your pocket and still be tightly integrated with your workflows. To give you a better idea of how it all works, let's have a look at a couple of different workflows. In the connection menu, I can see the camera being discovered, and as soon as I click connect, all of my grading controls are active, allowing me to adjust contrast, exposure, saturation, warmth and tint, printer lights, slope, power, gain, and all kinds of other options. Alternatively, if you have a more elaborate networking setup, such as something running over Wi-Fi Halo, as I have here, you could also connect your smartphone or iPad onto the same network and get the same control over multiple cameras by switching between them easily. And as you can see on screen, all of my grading controls are reflected in camera in real time, so I can really dial in the look exactly the way I want it. So for example, if I want there to be a bit less contrast, a bit warmer, and a bit less saturation. Additionally, we also have an exposure slider, which tracks along with exact exposure stops. So you can audition different exposures, for example, when you're up on the crane or on the Steadicam, to really find out if you want to add that ND or not. So LookPocket works by sending a color grading protocol called a color decision list, or CDL, many times a second to your camera. A CDL is a very small but yet powerful metadata format, which is why LookPocket is able to be so responsive and fast, but at the same time allow you to create very strong, distinct, and impactful looks. Another great thing about working with a CDL is, since your grading information is saved directly in the camera's original files as metadata, nothing you do in LookPocket changes your underlying exposure in any way. But all your grading information can be quickly and easily recalled on your computer. In DaVinci Resolve, for example, all I have to do is right-click on the footage and select Apply RE-CDL and LUT, and all of my look information is imported directly into DaVinci without any kind of metadata or file management. And in Silverstack, it's even simpler. I would just have to go add my clips, and Silverstack automatically detects that there are look information available and applies them directly from the file. The advantage of LookPocket over other methods of grading on set is really just how simple it is. It really is just as simple as clicking connect and you can get started grading. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities of giving color control to various people on set, or enabling yourself to have color control in more locations where you otherwise would not have had such possibilities. If you're a DP, you can mount your phone right on your pan bar, just like I have here, or simply leave it in your pocket and take it out whenever you need. Or if you're a DIT, you likely already have some kind of a iPad set up on your Wi-Fi Halo network for camera controls. Simply run LookPocket on split view on that same iPad, and you can enjoy all the same benefits of light grading without the hassle of setting up a bunch of extra hardware. Let's talk about how to actually use the app now. Anytime you're using the app, you will need to start by connecting to your camera. So let's start right there. Moving over to the Alexa, we're first gonna have to come over to our settings, system, Wi-Fi, and make sure our Wi-Fi power is on, or we have set up our network in our desired format. Then we're gonna have to come back and make sure our cap server is also on. If you're on the Alexa 35, the default look on this camera is not editable. So you would have to come over to your look and make sure you are not on the default look. Usually what I like to do here is I just come over to the default and duplicate the default look. Then with a new look, I would be able to easily edit my grade. Since LookPocket already saves your look right into the camera's files, your colorist should have no problem recalling what you did on set. But to make passing looks between you and your DIT and just on set easier in general, LookPocket also has the option to import and export CDL files. Now, this is also where we need to bring up the idea of a base CDL. We wanted to make LookPocket compatible with all kinds of different workflows. So when you export a CDL, you are not actually exporting your contrast, warmth, exposure, etc. controls, but instead you are exporting the cumulative CDL values of all of your grading parameters. So within LookPocket, your look is actually split up into a base and a final CDL. The base CDL is where your imported CDL files will go, and all your changes are added on top of this before being sent to the camera as a final CDL. If you're a cinematographer just playing around with your look, the base CDL will probably be quite useless for you. But if you're a DIT like me, the base CDL allows you to compensate for lens and camera color shifts completely separately from your actual grading changes. So here in my files, I have a folder containing all the lenses I may be using on a given project. In my case, I have prepared all of these during the camera prep before the actual shoot. So if I know, for example, we are going onto the 18 to 35mm zoom, which has a strong green and exposure shift, I have compensated for those already during the prep and prepared that as a CDL, which I can now import as my base CDL. As soon as I load the CDL, my image is automatically adjusted to remove those color shifts. And I can then come over to the grading controls and add a color grade on top of that, without thinking about the lens's color shifts. As I mentioned, at release, LookPocket is compatible with several of ARRI's lineup of Alexa and Amira cameras, although we are planning to add support for Sony Venice and Red cameras as soon as possible. As for licenses, we have both temporary and permanent licenses available for purchase, so you can choose a plan that fits you best. And because we know how important ownership is to some users, we're very happy that we're able to offer a permanent licensing option. LookPocket is now available on the App Store with a 14-day free trial, and you can find the download link in the description.